Hello and welcome to this Illustrator tutorial. I'm going to show you some basics of Illustrator, how to create lines, how to trace around an image, and create some interesting things in Illustrator. So to start, I'm going to create a new document. I'm going to create a custom size document. For this one in particular, I'm going to do a landscape. And I'm going to make sure my width, I'm going to put that in as 320 and my height as 220. And then I can create. Excellent. Now, say I would like to do this Nike tick, but I don't want to, I want to trace it over an object, over the actual Nike tick. What I can do is, I've downloaded an image of Nike, so I can select that Nike tick and bring it into my document. So I just went File, Place, select my Nike tick and select Place. Now if I click, that comes into the document. Now I want to scale this down, so I'm going to go to the corner and I can drag it. Now you notice that the proportions may change if I just free drag. So if I hold Shift, it actually keeps the proportions set, and I can just drag them to a smaller scale. Excellent. Now, I want to put this Nike tick in a separate layer so that when I draw on top of it, my drawing and the Nike tick stay separate, because this is just a template. This is just a guide to help me. So I'm going to come on the right-hand side to Layers. You can see here, there's one layer already. What I want to do, I want to call this, I'm just going to call it Nike, okay? Nike logo. So that's my first layer. So I can turn that on and off. I'm going to come down the bottom and you can see a little plus. That's a create a new layer. Now I'm going to create this new layer on top and I'm going to call it my drawing. You can call it whatever you like, but now I can turn my Nike tick on and off, and I could also take my drawing sketch on and off. Okay, so that's using the little visibility eyes. Now, if I want to trace over, I'm going to zoom in to have a nice accurate. If I want to trace, this is your toolbar on the left-hand side. The feature I want to use is this curvature tool. I'm going to click on that. Now you can play around with this, but essentially do a whole bunch of lines and they connect, nice little curves. Okay, so I'm going to undo all that. That's what we're working towards. Now you can see my pen line that it creates is black. Because my Nike tick is black, I'm just going to come over here, click on the stroke, and I'm going to change it to red, just so we can see it a bit better. So there you go, you can see the line a bit better. Now, I'm going to start right on this tip, and I'm going to create a series of clicks. Now you will notice that if I do them close together, you will see a curve starting to form. So I'm going to try and find the best fit. The closer they are, the smaller the range of curve. I pulled it right out, you can see that it changes the curve. And you're just going to find the best fit. Okay, so it takes a little bit of playing around to get used to, but there we go. I've completed my Nike tick and I've traced over that image. Now you can see the inside went white, and that's what we call the fill. So over here, we changed the stroke, which is the line color, to red, and the fill here, instead of being white, I'm going to click on that box. Sorry, I'm not going to double click. I'm just going to click once on that box and I'm going to come through and I'm going to click none. So that's the strike through. So now you'll be able to see that there's just a line and there's no fill color. So if I use my visibility tool, I can turn off my image that was my template, and I've got my Nike logo left. Now, say I made a mistake with where I wanted one of the dots. What you can do is you can come up to this direct selection tool and I can click and I can actually redrag and change this shape. So you can pick a shape, you can move it out, you can do whatever you'd like. You can also change the angle of certain things. So I might like the Nike tick to be a bit more pointed there. I'm going to try and drag it out. Okay, so we've got a bit, you can change the shape. You can also delete anchor points if you think there isn't a good one, but I would recommend just adjusting the ones you've got. Now, the selection tool helps you just select a major object. So this is a complete object, whereas the direct selection tool helped us to come in and make specific changes. All right, so that is tracing an image. Now, if I'd like to put some text on my logo or my design, I can come to the T tool over here, okay, and click. I might like to say raw, that's my surname. Now I've got my text included in my drawing. Now if you come over to properties on the right hand side, I can change my text properties. So I can change the character of it, I can change the font. Okay, you can choose what you might like. Okay, you can also change the size of it here. You can make them narrower, or you can make them further apart. Lots of things to play with. I'm just going to leave it as that for now. You can also change the size by just dragging the corners like any other object. But if you'd like a specific text size, that's where you use this over the side. Now I'm going to put my name, my raw title in the middle of my Nike like that. Okay, like the Nike text has. So not the Nike text, the Nike logo has. Now there's lots of different things you can play around with in Illustrator. A few more of them are the different shapes. So on your left-hand toolbar, you've got things like just creating a line. So I'm just going to click and drag. Okay, if I hold Shift, it'll go perfectly to like a perfectly straight line. Okay. Now those two lines I just drew, you'll be able to see have no color. So I'm just going to use my selection tool. I'm going to select them both. And I'm going to come down to my stroke, and again, I'm just going to give it some color so I can see them. There we go. So that's the line tool. Now, if I right click on my mouse on the line, you'll see there's also lots of different other shapes. I've got rectangle, I've got circles, so that's an ellipse. And if I hold Shift, I'll get a perfect circle as opposed to an oval. Polygon tool. Okay, so if I just click, I have the choice of how many sides I might like. So I want to choose an octagon. There we go. So 8 sides. And again, I just held Shift to keep that square. I might like to choose a star tool. Okay, again, if you click, you can choose how many points it might have. So I can do a 3-point star, which turns out to be a triangle. And if I did a 5-point star, you get a normal looking star. There's lots of different things you can play with. There's an arc tool. Okay, you can set up different arcs. Play around. A few other features you might need. If I click on my octagon, so this is in selection tool. So the corners help you change the size, and again, holding Shift helps them to keep it proportionate. If I hover just off that corner, you can see a rotating arrow occurs. So I can rotate it to whatever shape and size I want. So again, with the triangle, holding off the side, I can rotate it. There is specific angles there you can rotate it to, or you can just free rotate. So there we go. A few basic things in Illustrator.